Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel, and welcome back to Calmsden Farm, episode number 19. And we're in a brand new game day. We're in the second phase of March, again playing 2 game days per month, 6 game days per season, just moving things right along. And we are spraying liquid fertilizer onto field number 3. Now, you might remember we planted field number 3 last fall. And of course, that was when we basically harvested this field in August. And then probably planted in September timeframe, certainly by early October, once we had made the transition out of August, which was just 1 game day, into September, we got our 2 game days, and then we were cooking with gas from that point forward. But we had seeded this in fall because that was basically the base game. Um, that was the base game requirement when you were playing the base game without the UK weather mod or a geo installed. And so, anyway, that is what the deal is. And of course, at that particular point in time, we had no we had no ability to put down slurry because we didn't have enough slurry at that particular point in time. So I'm hopeful that we can accomplish a couple of different things this season, this year. One is we will fertilize with liquid fertilizer field number 3 and possibly field number 2 to our right. That is our canola field that was also planted in that same fall time frame, and get those brought up to 100% fertilization level, and then be able to sell not only this sprayer but also this really slow and small tractor, because we really haven't used it much at all here on the farm. I have used it to move some implements around, things of that nature, but have not used it from this perspective of spraying. And the reason why we got it was because it was one of the alternatives that was available for the row crop tires, the small thin tires that will not damage your crops when you're driving in them. And but I don't think that even though crop damage is on, I turned it back on. I had turned it off a few game days ago for some reason or another, and had turned it back on. But I don't think that crop damage really comes into the fold until the crop is at the harvestable state. Not really sure why that is with the game, but um, that's been my experience. I've accidentally, rolled into the crop a little bit over the last few game days, as it has been kind of in this state, in the almost, kind of ready to go. Well, it's not almost ready to go. It still has another growth stage or two to go, but I have rolled into it and realized that it did not destroy the crop. So anyway, hope everyone is having a wonderful day, and hope you have enjoyed the videos here on the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. Let's see, you guys watched episode 18 yesterday on Tuesday. Now I'm recording this episode on Wednesday morning, the 23rd of February, and you will see this most likely on Thursday. I'm trying to fall into a schedule. I know I've mentioned this several times, talked about it until I'm almost blue in the face about trying to come up with a schedule that best suits me. And I kind of think that videos being released on Monday and Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday, and sometimes maybe on Saturday, is kind of the schedule that I need to be able to do the things that I enjoy doing, the other games that I enjoy playing. And kind of when I do play flight sim, it's almost it's kind of like it's almost a re-engineer of my desk, of my gaming desk. And when that sort of when that happens, um, it just let me just make this turn here and get locked into GPS. But when that happens, I kind of like to leave it set up in the flight sim setup for a day or two, which means that I'm not playing farm sim during that time because I have to move my pedals that I use with my G27 steering wheel. I have to move them out of the way, put my rudder pedals down, put my yoke on my desk. I've got a couple of other controllers that I use for flight sim that I don't use for anything else, and so those go on the desk. And and because I typically fly on the VATSIM network, I've got a notepad that goes on my desk for writing ATC instructions and stuff on. And it's just kind of an ordeal. But in any event, I think this Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, the occasional Saturday video release will be fine. I also made a decision. I know that I had spoke about it in the previous episode, episode number 18, um, about bringing Oldstream Farm to the channel. I have decided against that. For the first time in a very, very long time, I have made the decision. Um, I have made the decision to play Oldstream Farm completely, um, completely off camera, completely my own, just my own thing. I've never really had much success in being able to do that, primarily because of the amount of time. I always felt a little bit guilty when I was playing a farm sim map and not, doing it kind of off camera and away from the channel when I needed to record videos to put on the channel. And the other, even though I'm retired now, and one might think, and I know I've kind of mentioned this before, I sometimes feel that I have less time now that I'm retired than I did when I was working 50, 60 hours a week. And I know that that sounds funny, and to people that may not be retired or may not be working, may not be old enough to kind of understand how you have to organize your life to be able to do other things when you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. But when you are in that sort of frame of mind, and I had been working, many, many hours a week for many, many years, you do sort of figure out what you need to do to be able to have a life outside of your career. And it often involves a lot of late nights, early mornings, not a whole lot of sleep at times. And you just sort of figure it out, and you make it work for you. Well, when I made this transition from, working at the time that I was laid off in 2020, I was working about 45 to 50 hours a week. We had obviously been working at home for about 2.5 months, 3 months, something like that, because of the pandemic. And I wasn't traveling. I wasn't having to go back and forth between our three offices here in the greater Denver area. We had three offices in this area, and I was transversing between the three of those on a fairly regular basis, which kind of helped to add up to those hours, because the minute that I got in the car and left my house to go to one of the remote offices, I I counted those hours as I was working, because technically I was working. And so obviously with the pandemic, that sort of schedule, that sort of situation kind of went away for me and for many others. And so my time was not quite as busy. But when I made that transition after I was laid off, and then for a couple of months I looked for a job and did some DIY stuff. I completely painted the interior of my house, and that took about 2.5 months to do that. I sort of found myself going from, full steam ahead to almost just a standstill. And I did kind of take that standstill for a couple of weeks, and I didn't really do anything. I was a bit, I was a bit not clinically depressed. I was not happy. I was not happy after being laid off after 23 years, and just really kind of struggling to make that transition to accept that, that this had happened. And then, of course, the realization that, I was 50, at the time I was 54 years old, I think, and the kind of the realization that, no one is they're going to look at my resume, they're going to see that I've spent 23 years at my previous job. They're going to see what my job level was, if you will. I was a senior employee, senior technical employee. So they're going to see that, and they're going to go, wow, this guy is earning whatever I was earning. And they're going to know that they could find somebody right out of college, you know and or the types of positions that I was doing just weren't open. But anyway, really enough about all of that. But back to my free time and what I have available for the channel, between just spending time with my wife, which is, whoa, that bird almost hit us. Spending time with my wife, which is extremely important to me, as it should be, and as it should be to each and every one of you if you are in a relationship and have a wife and have kids and all that stuff. You need to do that. But just doing that and doing things around the house, and just also, I guess maybe some people think that when you retire, you not only, the assumption is that you have all this available time, to spend gaming, but that you also maybe have the desire to spend hours and hours and hours, at your gaming machine, playing games. And to be quite honest with you, as much as I enjoy the simulation-based games that I have in my collection, um, after a period of time, I get tired. I get tired of sitting in my basement by myself, even though it's fun. I can lose myself in the immersion and everything, regardless of what I'm playing. I guess what I'm trying to say is, for me personally, I have such varied interests. I'm really enjoying the books that I've been reading of late. I've finished the Plantagenets, and I've moved on to the War of the Roses, again by Dan Jones. And I just enjoy doing other things. And I know that for somebody maybe that is young, that spends countless hours in front of their gaming machine, you might be thinking to yourself, boy, if I can speed through this whole career thing, and when I retire, get out of school and get my career started and retire, that's all I'm going to do is play video games. Well, unless you don't have any other commitments in your life, then I'm sorry to tell you that you're going to have so many other things that you're going to have to do, that you're just not going to have time to do all of that. So anyway, really enough about that. So, as you all should know, because after I got done recording yesterday, and essentially yesterday's video obviously was about, we seeded barley, we sold sunflower seeds off camera. I sold the balance of those sunflower seeds, which brought us to the amount of money that we have up in our bank account. And then also went ahead and rolled field number 9 as well. And might as well do it because, it only took me about 15 minutes to roll that field. And I did it myself, actually. I didn't use course play, and just really sort of enjoyed the time that I spent doing that. But as you all know, if you were paying attention to sort of the things that went on yesterday in the Giants world, the farming simulator world, etc., you all know that Giants announced what the DLC was going to be for Farming Simulator 22, that was going to release. And those of us who guessed the 22nd of those of us who guessed the 22nd of March are correct. I don't know what we win. I doubt anything at all, and I don't really know why I came over here to spray, because I don't think we need to spray anything. But we will just go ahead and get this corner here, just in case we forgot it and missed it. and then we're going to go up and check out the canola field and see if there's anything that we need to do there. Um, so we will go ahead and shut this down, and we will fold these arms up, and we will stop and fill up liquid fertilizer. It takes, I don't know if anyone has played this map, and I'll get back to my story here momentarily. I don't know if anyone that plays this map has dispensed any liquid fertilizer out of this out of this this tank, but it takes a long time. Oh wait, we're emptying it. We don't want to do that. We want to fill it. Um, we are. It just takes a considerable amount of time. Anyway, I will finish my story here. Let's go ahead, and I'm going to do a pause here and let this fill up, because there's no need in you sitting here watching me fill this up, and I will be right back with you. Okie doke, we're back. Just went ahead and filled up the fertilizer, and then moved our tractor over here, and I will finish talking about what I was talking about. So anyway, what I was setting up, the story I was trying to set up, was the fact that if you have been paying attention to the Giants world, you realize that they announced what the DLC was going to be, and of course that DLC will release on the 22nd of March. Um, Okay, so I purchased the season pass, and it was the very first time, and possibly maybe the last time. I hate to say never, but it was the first time that I had ever purchased a season pass for a video game kind of thing. I just felt like, okay, well, I'll just, it kind of looks interesting, the teasing that they were doing with it, and I'll just go ahead and do it, and it's kind of like rolling the dice, right? I knew from firsthand experience, obviously having been involved with this franchise for the number of years that I've enjoyed it, that some of the DLC is hit and miss. I've purchased some, I haven't purchased others, um, but the announcement came out yesterday with regards to what the DLC was going to be, and I think it's underwhelming, to be quite honest. And I know I'm not the only one who shares that opinion. Now, I will say that even though I'm a Giants partner, um, I am not going to toe the politically correct Giants, you know, cheer uh, cheerleader kind of line. And if I see something that I don't agree with, or whatever, I'm going to call it out. Now, I'm a partner. I'm not one of the guys like Virtual Farmer, Daggerwin, and some of those guys that are that get the game early and get the DLCs early, and can give feedback back to Giants. Basically, I'm just I get some discount codes, or some not some discount codes, but I get some codes that I can offer up to you that gives me credit back, and pretty much I think that's the extent of what I get out of that relationship. But being recognized as and I'm not only am I a partner based on my YouTube channel, but also simplysafemods.com, which is also what I'm very proud of. But anyway, I'm gonna call it the way I see it, and I've always kind of been like that. And I think it's underwhelming. I think that they could have, but I will say it's underwhelming, but I will also say that it's not. I wasn't surprised that they didn't go that route, because obviously, with grapes and with olives being the brand new sort of crops in the game, kind of half expected that there would be something to kind of bolster that up a little bit. And of course, for fans of the game that live in Italy, this company, let's see if I can find in my notes what Antonio Carrero. This company, I believe, is an Italian company. So obviously, if there are Italian maps that will come out that are more maybe vineyard, orchard specific, this is gonna be fantastic. People are gonna probably gobble this up. But within some of the Discord communities that I belong to, um, and some of the people that I sort of follow and respect their opinions and their comments and such, they're pretty much all feeling the same way that I am. That it's a bit underwhelming, and that essentially Giants could have done. other things. They could have still released a pretty much dedicated vineyard orchard kind of DLC, but why 10 tractors? I think it was 10 tractors that's going to be in the DLC that are all under 100 horsepower. And granted, I understand that that you don't need a 500 horsepower tractor to be able to do the vineyards. But how about some more vineyard equipment? How about some different options that could be used with the vineyards? And so we'll see. We will see how things go. I'm going to start here, I think, and do my sideways up and downs here, just because I don't want to have to mess with changing the angles here of this field. But something like that. So you know, DLC is the stuff that Giants has historically released. Some of it I have purchased, some of it I have not. Sometimes I have purchased a DLC for one thing, for one particular item. But I don't know about this one as far as my opinion is concerned. I'm hoping that the other three, DLCs that are part of the first year season pass, I'm hoping that those are a little more exciting than the first one. So we will just kind of have to wait and see. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of the stuff that I had put down on my notes, things that I wanted to talk about. And obviously, I'd like to have your opinion on what you think of the first announced DLC for Farming Simulator 22. Does that meet your expectations? Does it fall short of your expectations? Are you hopeful? Obviously, I think that answer would be yes. That you are certainly hopeful that things will get better with the additional DLC announcements for the remainder of the year. Um, but just kind of curious as to what you think about this first DLC, and whether or not you're going to buy it. If you don't have the first year season pass, and whether or not and if you do have the season pass, if you were like me and you purchased the season pass along with the game back when at the pre-order stage, then do you think that you will use any of that equipment? I mean, and for me, I don't even I don't even think I would use it, other than maybe just loading up my test map, which is Elm Creek, and loading in a couple of the different tractors. There was one of them that kind of looked kind of cool. I might just load it up and play around with it for a few minutes, but I don't think I would use any of that equipment, for example, on Oldstream if I were still playing that map um, at the time that the DLC comes out. Who knows? That's a month away. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and are ready to do some fun things for the weekend. Hopefully, the weather in your neck of the woods is a little more cooperative than what it has been here for me in Colorado. It has just been absolutely cold this week, and the cold is not going to go away until we get a little bit closer to the weekend. It is still negative this morning, just like it was yesterday morning. It got up to maybe about 10 degrees yesterday during the day. Today's high is going to be in the 10 to 12 range, I believe, and it's going to be Saturday before we see the temperature gauge go above 32 degrees. So we're staying warm. Hope you are staying warm and dry and safe wherever you are. And thank you all so much for watching not only this episode, but all of my episodes. Look forward to hearing from you in the comments. And have a wonderful, wonderful day. Take very good care of yourself and also those around you. And I'll speak to you right back here on Calmsden Farm for the next episode very soon. Bye for now.